Welcome to this week's instalment of the Clare Business Chamber podcast. Brought to you by the Clare, sponsored by Ennis Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Joe Melody. On today's podcast, I have a very, very interesting and well-known guest. He was a hurler, he's a hotelier. He has done mountaineering. He's not going to go as far as saying that that's his soul. He's climbed Mont Blanc and Kilimanjaro. So he's none other than Gerry Quinn. Welcome to the podcast, Gerry.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you.
And thanks for having us. We're here in the surrounds of the historic and landmark Hydro Hotel in Lisdoonvarna.
Yeah.
The latest purchase and the latest new project for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not a foray because we're already in the hotel business with the Abbey Court Hotel, Emina and Fiddle and Bow and Doolin, and what rent an Irish Cottage, among others.
Yeah.
But there's an ambitious deadline here. We're recording on the 5th of June. You're hoping it to be opened in less than 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, the deadline, we're opening on the really soft opening on the 18th and opening fully then on the 19th. But it'll be a soft launch this year. I'd say we've a lot of work to do, but our ambition is just to get in, get it open, and just get it moving. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. It's so fresh, and he's going to revitalise his whole area of North Clare too, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I suppose initially when we came up to look at it, I had a completely different impression of the building in my own head. My experience of it was 20 years ago in the nightclub. Probably didn't have the best pair of eyes at the time, but I suppose when myself and John Burke came back in to have a look at it, we were just blown away by the building. Like it's a great landmark building. Like it's perched up on a hill. It's a good looking building. Inside then really nice lobby, great features, kind of high ceilings, just really great bones. Albeit there's a lot of, we need to it was more of a reimagining it than rebuilding it from the ground up. So it was really exciting. And then we start to do a lot more research on Lisdoonvarna and the history of this building in particular, like an absolutely amazing history, and the history of the spa wells and the history of Lisdoonvarna. We were blown away by, I suppose, the possibilities in terms of having a hotel business here, and then almost the story that the place told. And there's just so much interesting things here, and I think it's going to be a great place for people to visit and experience over the next few years.
100%. But I think before we go far, and this is very much the future, and you have a huge vision for this environment, so does John have, but we'll probably go back to where a lot of people would have heard about you or known of you from your earlier days, and that's your involvement in hurling. And it wasn't just hurling at, parochial level even. You made it to the top. You represented Clare for several years. Played in Not Ireland final, and you've been nominated for an All-Star twice. You were a backman, originally from Currafin. How the whole sporting world, you spend so much. What I see with a lot of people who compete in any sport, especially amateur sports in Rhode Island, was hurling or football, competitively, their life tends to revolve around sport long term. They get into training teams, they get involved in coaching, or maybe within the organisation, the GAA. Do you think that being that competitive as an athlete, that almost informed your move into business? Did you need something else to scratch that itch? Because you had performed at a high level, and when the time came to retire, did you just feel you needed something else to go into? And how did you make the jump from being a competitive athlete to being a businessman?
Yeah. I suppose to talk about our hurling days, like it was just incredibly fortunate to have had the career I had in hurling, both really kicked off kind of under 14 Tony Forrest, till Clare 16s, then getting into Flannan's at 16, and just experiencing Harty Cup hurling, and just getting to play generally with the guys, and I suppose on then to represent Clare in senior level. I loved hurling. I had an incredible career there. Just feel so fortunate to have played with the likes of Joe Brian Lohan and Shawnee Mack and all these, John James O'Connor, Davy Fitz, all these kind of legends of the game. And to have played under John Gerlach Nan and just to experience their leadership styles and to, I suppose, learn a little bit off all of them as well. And then I suppose the transition into business then was, yeah, like I always wanted to be as good as I could be in the hurling world, whatever that looked like. I was driven. I had I suppose, a chip on my shoulder to prove something to other people or myself, probably, as it turns out. But yeah, so the transition into the business world was definitely something that I was just eager to prove to myself that I was, I suppose, just able and I'm worthy of it, I guess. So I was really eager to prove myself in the business world as well. I was very comfortable as well to, like, I really loved hurling and it was great for me, but I was eager to maybe close the chapter on that and open the chapter of something else properly. I think sometimes some people can get caught in in a loop of, like, hurling is an amazing sport, but it's still it's a pastime. You know, it's something you can't make your living out of it. So I knew I needed to figure that part out.
But were you motivated by money? I know you said, just looking back to your hurling days, you had a fierce competitive streak in you.
Yeah,
You would see that on the field even.
yeah.
But the chip in the shoulder piece, when it carries over into business, you know, does it become more about money, or is it about getting the most out of yourself? As whether you're a competitor or you're a business person, I think one thing common most people have is getting the most out of themselves. But are you motivated by money? You know, people are often ardent. They mince their words in it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, absolutely. Like, if you're in the business world, like, obviously money plays a part in it. Like, you've got a business, first of all, has to be sustainable, or it's not a business; it's a pastime. So, like, for me personally, am I motivated by money? No, it's more the creation of things, the proving to, I suppose, myself that I can do it. Just creating is probably my main motivation. But, like, obviously, you need a certain amount of money to survive, and you need a certain amount of money to be able to grow your business and sustain your business, and yeah, and keep it on a good trajectory.
You're very interested in the whole sustainability area from an environmental point as well as anything else, and that
Yeah,
seems to be a great passion of yours.
yeah,
I don't know, was it when I was born from, but in recent years anyway, I know that you're very passionate about it, and you brought that true to what you've done, Fiddling Bow and Doolin.
yeah,
Even the cottages, you're all about natural materials and you're building them. But in the sustainability piece, is the money thing the park has often missed out on, that you need to be sustainable financially, or you can't be sustainable in any other areas, whether it's environmentally or whether it's in the human or personal side of it.
yeah. No, absolutely. Like, like, sustainability starts with making the best decisions long term as well. Like, it's for us in Fiddle Bow, you always want to do the right thing in terms of and those generally turn out to be really good business decisions long term. You know, you end up, you know, if you put in the right equipment, you end up saving money. You help everything. So it's like business is can be a force for good if it's used in the right thing. It creates jobs. It's you can do really well if you put your mind to it.
Yeah. So you have you have a kind of a guiding ethos in how you do everything.
Yeah,
Going
absolutely.
back to
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Like, it's like I have a vision to try and do everything as well as I possibly can. Like, that's like a real drive to a real passion for doing things in a quality way. I have no interest in opening another crappy coffee shop or another crappy hotel. Like, it just I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, I don't, like, I'm not a spreadsheet operator. Like, like, obviously it all needs to make financial sense, but I want to deliver a great product, and I want to make sure that when customers come into our premises that they leave having a good experience and had a good product.
Is there a stamp, or I don't know, what would you call it, a kind of a spirit going through your brand of, we'll just take Fiddle and Bow and even cottages and Doolin.
Yeah.
Is there a kind of a feel that
Yeah.
you feel that is personal to you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Like I suppose Doolin started in 2014 when we started leasing a few cottages. So self catering is a big passion of mine. I love the idea of you get a product really right that people really enjoy. You hand over the keys, and then and that's I really like that part. Like it's you create a great product and people enjoy it, and that's it. Like in terms of hotels, it's much different. Joe, they come into your hotel and each interaction is like you have to be careful. Like you have to get a bad coffee, you have to get a bad breakfast. So it's a much more intensive experience from a business perspective. So it's that's been a big curve for us to learn as well.
You're dealing with a lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts, a lot of staff, a lot of different things. But it's as I've developed my career, I'm leaning more towards hotels, and I'm kind of really enjoying that journey, the holistic experience of it.
Before I move on from the sporting part, question I'd be interested in, you played in the field with so many greats, Brian Lohan, Shine McMahon, Dave Fitzgerald, even playing under the likes of Sherlock Nan. Do you think that it gave you a certain confidence? Well, you are a confident guy. Like you're definitely a confident guy, and I mean that in the greatest possible sense. I think it's great confidence to play anyone. But do you think that gave you a confidence outside of the hurling field when it came to embarking business, that you were like, I've been successful in this one area, sure, why can't I be successful in business? There's something within me.
Yeah, definitely. Like it would, like my hurling career certainly did give me a lot of confidence, and it gave me a kickstart as well. Like I started my first business. It was Gerry Quinn's bar, Crowley's bar in Currafin. Like we started that when I was about 22 or so. So like that was a great learning experience. Like it was a bar trade. It was but still, like you learn so much in bars. Like they're tough businesses. Like you've got to get it fairly right. Like so, it's there was a huge learning curve in that. Always loved kind of hospitality and dealing with people. Joe went into the library bar then in Ennis, and that was a different experience. That was just bars, probably at a much bigger scale, which that was successful too. But I didn't really enjoy the late night kind of stuff. Like it's obviously great crack and all that, but it was Jones, in terms of having a work life balance, it definitely wasn't conducive to that. So, but I loved hospitality, so I knew that was my calling, but I just needed to figure out a nicer way to do it, I guess.
And on the work-life balance piece, do you have a work-life balance? Is it even possible at the level you're operating at to have it? Or are there seasons?
Yeah, no, definitely. I suppose that's a piece I've been really interested in over the last few years in terms of work-life balance, and what does that look like, and what do I want to do as a business person? I suppose I've I've done a huge amount of work on that, and like listened to a lot of thought leaders on that, and my current theory on that is that we've the reason, like when you get into business, the business can become you and you become your business. That can often be it's kind of a dangerous trait in a business person, really. But like I know the purpose of my business is to John, so you've Gerry Quinn's work life, and then you have Gerry Quinn the person. The reason I have my businesses is to help fund the life that I want to live, and to live the life that I want to live. And I suppose what's most important to me is that I'm in kind of control of my time, and that I can do kind of whatever I want to do. In terms of
Not answerable to a certain extent.
But yeah, it's in control of your time. Like that's the most important thing that I can give myself. Like it's you've created these things to help live the life that you want to live, whatever that looks like.
Your freedom.
Yeah, freedom. Like the business it can be dangerous. It can be lonely. It can be for instance, a friend of mine was she won National Shop of the Year, and she'd worked for years to get there, and then you're at the top of the mountain, and it can be quite a lonely experience. Like you get your pats in the back, but then the next day it's like, what next? And that's the thing in business. It's what next, but it's to really have to know what you're doing it for, and I now think I know what I'm doing it for, and I want to live the life I want to live, and that these my work life will help make that happen.
Have you felt on that? No, not to use a mountaineering pun, but when you got to one peak, let's say Abbey Court,
Yeah,
just for example, just not to delve too far into your story, but when you got to the peak and acquiring that the Gerry Quinn, who set up Gerry Quinn's bar when he was 22, if he was told that Gerry Quinn, you know, in his 30s was going to be able to do that, then you might have thought at the time that would be a lifetime accolade. I don't know,
yeah.
to be able to acquire a big property like that. Was there a feeling that when you got to the end of it and you got that acquired, that it was exactly what you said, what next?
Yeah, well, that's the issue in business, really. Like, you get one property, next thing you're looking to the next. You're always looking over the next hill. Like, that's kind of a human condition, isn't it? Like, so it's I suppose I have worked a lot in terms of making sure that I know what I'm working for, and that I have a vision for my own life, and it's a life I want to know that I want to have, make sure that I spend lots of time with my family, and that I've lots of time to do just to enjoy my pastimes. That I don't want to be just Gerry Quinn, the worker, like, because like, it's pretty clear, like, that's not a great life plan, because at some stage you'll retire, and then you kind of have nothing if you haven't put in if you haven't.
There's an emptiness there.
There's a huge emptiness there. Yeah, like a business is important, and it has filled me with confidence and given me so much, but it's not my everything. So.
And do you feel then that, from that point of view, that in nearly like a loop, that the more you pay attention to the other areas of your life that you should be paying attention to, i.e. family,
Yeah,
pastimes, friends, doesn't matter, travel,
yeah,
that it almost makes you a more successful business person because you have perspective.
yeah, 100%. Particularly over in the last year, we moved as a family. We moved out to Mallorca, so I'm kind of commuting over and back a lot. So we're got to spend a lot of time, I suppose, thinking and reflecting and working on myself, both spiritually and in a business sense. So it's that has been definitely, think, after the current year, that I'm definitely a different person now, and I've just a more balanced view on things, and I took that time, I suppose, out to really think about things, and put plans together for the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah.
And is your spirituality important? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think like, you have your business life, which is Gerry Quinn the businessman, and Gerry Quinn the person. So, like, yeah, it's there's a huge amount to explore there, and yeah, I think I suppose anything I know is that I know nothing really. It's like, it's the probably biggest question that we all should have, isn't it?
Yeah. But just that time to reflect, and that, as you were saying with the retirement piece, and so many people struggle with retirement, you're obviously a long way away from it, but they've had no time to reflect on the holistic part of their life.
Yeah.
Those questions, and sometimes they're left with these unanswered questions at the end of it all,
Yeah.
after chasing something for so long.
Yeah, no, you're chasing something, but it's not going to give you anything. That chase is not going to, you're going to end up with nothing. Like, just like, you're chasing handbags, chasing kind of material things. It's not. I know now that money and material things aren't really going to do anything for me on the holistic level. So I'm excited to explore kind of deeper kind of topics, I guess.
But you need the time to do those things, don't you?
No, you do. And I suppose going to Mallorca was about, like, trying to get a bit fitter and trying to, like, start looking after my health a little bit better and spending more time with the family. And yeah, that was an amazing experience for the whole family to do.
And on the part of getting fitter and minding your body and all that, to achieve what you achieved in terms of the property side of it, the rentals, the hotel side of it, if you're one of these people that was stuck in every aspect of what was happening in the hotel, do you think it would have been possible?
Yeah. No, absolutely not. No, I think it's all about, it's all about team and building really good people around you, like, and trying to, for me, is improving as a manager and as a leader of kind of a few different organizations. Yeah, like my main ethos is just to try and find the best people you can and just let them free, like let them do their thing. Like I don't want to micromanage people. Like what we try and do is get in people that have like that are talented and are really passionate about the business, and you let them do their thing, like, and you'll like that's really worked incredibly well for what I do anyway.
And are they there? You hear so much about labour so hard to get, and like people are so hard to hire and to get nowadays, that you have full employment. The job market is so competitive.
Yeah.
Are they there, or how do you attract those people?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like there's an incredible amount of talent out there. Yeah, so it's like it's just trying to make sure you have a sustainable environment, and make sure you have a reputation of something that's good to work for. That like that's the key. Like, and when you do get good people, then that you let them do their thing. Like that you don't micromanage them, don't let them make their mistakes, and let them grow. Like I think you'll get something much better long term if that's your approach. The micromanagement is a highly intensive thing, and it needs to be a 24/7 thing if that's your jam. For me, it's like I really enjoy partnerships as well. Like my partnership with John Burke has been incredible. Learned so much. Brian O'Neill in the Abbey Court, another great Clare man as well. So he would I suppose that journey in the Abbey Court in particular, it was like it was just before I was helping manage it. I suppose my role there was I was helping managing 20 properties down there for an Ennis-based businessman, Eugene Keane, and there was a GM in place at the time there, and he, I suppose, left all of a shot. So I helped. I took over Abbey Court at that stage, and was really struggling to put a team together. Like I knew what we wanted it to be. I knew I had a vision for the place, but like trying to make that happen was incredibly tough, because just in terms of team, I wasn't managing to stabilize the team. But then Brian came along, and yes, since then we've been really able to turn that whole business around. But like it's again, the learning was that it is all about creating these teams and getting the top people right first to get the right culture to be able to build the overall team, and to set it in the right direction is the key.
But in terms of the Abbey Court, it's a prime example of, I've heard about different acquisitions and things you've done in recent years, and sometimes they're like, well, how did that happen? Or,
Yeah,
where did it come from?
yeah.
The likes of the Abbey Court is a good example. Are you an opportunist? Do these things come in your way, or was it something you had a vision to work
Yeah.
in?
No, yeah, no. For that, it was like I had a friend that had a bit of an issue, in terms of the property wasn't moving that well. So I kind of went in and had a look under the bonnet, and understood that there was actually something I could help and add value to. So like my set of skills, I just figured I could be of service to that, and yeah, and I went in and got stuck in and started changing things slowly. But again, I suppose the main turnaround there was that when we stabilized the management team and got Brian O'Neill involved. I suppose that was one of the biggest.
It was a people's issue with you.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like all businesses, like you can have all the infrastructure you want, but if you don't have the right people in the right places, you're at nothing. Particularly in hotels, it's like it's a people business. Like if everybody isn't pulling in the right direction, and if you don't have a solid leadership, it can be incredibly tough.
Huge trouble.
Huge trouble, yeah. Yeah.
To go back, the nature of this podcast is sometimes we hit in something that we go deeper for the rich flame, but to go back to the part where you got into the whole hotel hospitality part.
Yeah.
Where did that start? Like, why hotels?
Yeah, so like oh yeah, geez, so it was in I suppose 2008, Gerry Quinn. We had the Library Bar, which was I had it with the Lions at the time. So obviously things during the crash, everything went pretty much Pete Tong. So we had a 10-year lease on that building with the 2-year outlaws. So we're at the end of our outlaws, and the economy pretty much had crashed. So instead of taking 50s out of your tills, it was 5s, you know. So the business environment had completely changed. So I kind of knew I needed to change. So yeah, I went in then, and I wanted to get into hotels, so I decided went back to Shannon Hotel School of Management in Shannon. So I did. So that was incredible. It was.
What age? You just
Yeah, I'd say 31, just finished hurling. Yeah, so just kind of a burnt out hurler going looking to change his career. Yeah, so I was so went in and started at the bottom. Like went in the first year, second year went in over to Glen Eagles in Scotland, which is one of these big resort properties, incredible properties. But it was tough going out there. I was living in staff accommodation. Like the nature of the thing was you had to start at the very bottom. So I was carrying trays around for these big food trays. I was doing that for 6 months solid. Like it was pretty low time in my general career. Like I'd gone from playing hurling with big ego to
status.
yeah, all the trappings that go being in the hurling bubble. The next thing you're out of that, you're in Scotland. Nobody knows or cares. And you're having to start at the very bottom in terms of a career. But I think in hindsight, that was probably the thing that made me. It was kind of the death of the ego and the rebuilding of almost like lip breaking a horse. Like you're kind of, and I think the rebuilding really came from there.
And, has that stuck with you even now, that there's almost a bit of humility with that, in that, I was remember meeting a dairy farmer one time. He was milking 1,000 cows, and he was like an example of so-called success, I suppose. And I had no time to be bad health, and he said it can all be taken away from you in the morning.
Yeah.
And like it was your bad health that had informed that, rather than a financial setback. But doing those jobs, is it important that you can appreciate then that maybe when you're running a big organization, people on your team, how to respect them and incentivize them?
No, absolutely. Like the work that's done, like on every level, is equally important. Like if the lad that's in pot wash, if he's not firing on all cylinders, your kitchen isn't clean, everything, and it starts with that. So like absolutely, it's like getting into that nitty gritty in detail, like into accommodation, like it really allowed me to understand the detail required and the amount of people that need to be pulling in the right direction, and that's from your senior management to everybody that's in your organization is equally important.
Yeah. So you've got huge experience in the Eagles. You've better understanding at every level of the hospitality side of things, but it's a big jump to go from that to where you are today, where you're acquiring properties or several businesses.
Yeah. There was it was kind of started at Gerry Quinn's bar, but I also had an auctioneering business as well. So it was Quinn and Co Properties at the time. So it was that. So you had the starting of the business things. Then the property thing gave me a huge in-depth knowledge of property and how it worked and how the property industry worked. And then I suppose I was able to add to my skill level the hospitality school in Shannon, which that was an incredible opportunity as well. And that I was able, as part of your work experience was in Dromoland as well. So I did a year stage in Dromoland. That was my final year placement. So between the whole lot, that really helped me to, I suppose, get to whatever I'm doing now. So that was so you're knitting all three together. So this is the hydro here is a large property that, like the hospitality is the operating part of it. So to be able to understand all levels of it has been critical.
But I said you haven't been afraid to be a beginner again and again.
Yeah.
To go back at 31 to do college. That is daunting. It could be daunting.
Oh yeah, it was. You're with other 17, you're 18-year-olds, and they think at the time you're an absolute granddad. But I worked through college, and I was working with John Burke in Darmada. So I was a duty manager out there. So like it wasn't a full-time student role or anything, but it was yeah, you were getting to learn, and you were getting to learn from him as well, and you were getting to yeah, like that was also incredibly. I was fortunate to work with a man like that as well. So and you get to learn, and you get to you just get to see what it's like to run a successful hotel.
Yeah. You came into it with fresh eyes.
Yeah,
But yourself and John are great friends, and you're talking about the collaboration, the partnership side. But I know you partner on this and other things.
yeah,
Most people say it doesn't work. That
Yeah.
partnerships aren't a good idea in
Yeah.
most cases.
yeah,
Like, have yourself and John just hit on something particularly special? I know you're friends anyway,
yeah,
but some would say also that you should be doing friendship and business at different tables.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, are you a unique maybe partnership? It's less common than it is common.
yeah. Yeah, no, like yeah, like our partnership has been really great. Yeah, I think we both get a bit out of it. I've like he gave me my first break, and yeah, so like that has been like I'm equally comfortable with leading and following as well. Like, when I went into his business, I was very happy to follow as well. Like, I think to be able to lead, you gotta know how to follow as well. So now I suppose I'm in a leadership position. It's that is another interesting aspect. But just to delve back, sorry, to your initial question, yeah, like the partnership, we both have similar visions as to how a hotel business can work. Like that's probably like when we brainstorm, we can go to pretty crazy places, but like we always kind of end up back in the same thing in terms of what we want to create: really high quality kind of products all the time. And there's a definitely huge commonality in that. And we both also don't sweat the small stuff as well. I think that's critical as well. We're both kind of relatively grounded in terms of we try not to stress too much about things anyway.
Yeah, we should review.
Yeah.
In terms of the brainstorming side of it, you go into Fiddle and Bow, or you can, as I said before, the cottages, especially on people, you can see your fingerprints on them. Is it, when the two of you in partnership and you're both busy, is it a formal thing where you sit down and you go, well, we'd like to license here, we'd like to acquire a property, like, look, a Hydro, we'd like to acquire the Hydro landmark property in North Clare Tourism? Or is it a thing where, you're on the hands free, you're driving around and you're chatting, and like you talk a lot?
Yeah.
Because you're so busy, I'd just be interested to know how that works.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's like the Hydro was John calling me. He'd obviously, I hadn't any experience with the Hydro, so he just said come up that he thinks Hydro is a serious property. Yeah, I'd very little interest at the time until I came up and saw it, and really but like, I suppose instantly we both connected with the property in terms of we could see what we could do with it. There was so many different elements and so many different angles that we felt we could help, and we could like, it's just the story is so big here, like, and we just feel that it wasn't a case of having to rebuild a whole hotel. It was just a case of trying to reimagine it in the to what it needs right now. Like and a big part of our business, both of our business ethos, actually, is we like to recreate, like, our businesses, we kind of strip them out every year and kind of start over again. And like, how can we keep improving, because like you're either on, my view on things, particularly in hospitality, you're either on one curve or the other. Like, you're either going that way or you're going that way. You don't hold. Like, you're either, like, if you think you're holding, you're sliding. So
Or like grass, or you're dying, or
yeah, because like it's kind of like the fashion business. Like,
Yeah.
you need to keep changing and you need to keep evolving. Like, and I suppose both of us, like John is always John changes things an awful lot, and we do the same. Fiddle and Bow, we're always tweaking things and moving things, and I suppose driving people mad, really.
the Fiddle and Bow one is interesting because Doolin to me seems to have the usual market in that it seems to be on 12 months of the year
Yeah,
for a seaside area.
Yeah.
It's not a, it's not near any major infrastructure or
yeah,
urban centres. But the Hydro, is this going to feed into that whole piece now of servicing North Northwest Stair.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and we see Listonvarna as being just an incredible place in terms of it was hugely successful in the past. If you take the Spa Wells, which is just less than 100 meters from where we're sitting now, that had 20,000 people going through it back in the 1900s. It was a commercial spa from 1875. And its main thing was sulfur water, which at the time was had huge health benefits. And obviously that's very pertinent to now as well. Like there's obviously as people move away from kind of alcohol to more health type activities, we see that as being a huge opportunity for for all of North Clare to take advantage of. And also when you're looking down there, you see this just incredible piece of infrastructure that's lying idle and not developed and not operated. It just seems a bit bad for us. And we believe if that's reactivated, it would have a major impact on the economy of the whole of North Clare. Like when Listonvarna went quiet, that had a big impact on Doolin. Like, because people would come up in Listonvarna, and they'd spend the night maybe in Listonvarna, but they come to Doolin, there's their traces will be all along North Clare. So,
But is there a challenge in that? As much potential as there is in the Listonvarna area, is there a bit of branding issue with Listonvarna in terms of the matchmaking festival is obviously huge and it's huge by international standards because everyone knows what Listonvarna for matchmaking. But you're going to appeal to a different audience for your tourism product.
yeah.
Have you yourself and John have a challenge in that area?
Yeah, we see it as being a huge, incredible opportunity. The history that this place has, like the hydro was initially built as a match. It was built to service the spa down the road. So it was the wealthy used to come here and do their matchmaking down in the Spa Wells. That's how it originated, like back in the late 1800s. So what we want to do is reimagine it. Like for this year, our intention is to get the hotel open, so just get energy flowing within the hotel again, and slowly start to rebuild brand Hydro, help rebuild the brand of Listonvarna, and obviously we hopefully want to help get the Spa Wells up and running as well. So it's all the one, like the Hydro, Listonvarna, the Spa, it's all kind of the one brand, if you know what I mean. So it's like if Listonvarna brand is strong, we're strong. You know, it's kind of has to happen.
Get it tailored together.
Absolutely together, yeah. So but that's exciting. It's like Listonvarna is a really great town. Like, and it has struggled over the last 10, 15 years, but like I think it's hopefully, we believe it's an energy thing, like that we can get our energy in behind the place and start to work with all the local businesses and follow in the footsteps that, like, you've a lot of great business people here, like Brigitte in the smokehouse, like you've Peter Jackson's running the roadside. Like, it's like Listonvarna was a great business place in the past, and it can be a great business place again in the future, and will be, I'd imagine.
Do you think that it's going to require a lot of energy from your part personally to do this?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and John and all our team, like, yeah, it's going to be but there's a lot of people working in the background. You've Joe Garrihy here, like Joe Garrihy's been beating the Listonvarna drum, like the infrastructure that they have here, like they have a little town creche, they have AstroTurf, they have pitches, they have a big pavilion there, like, and politically it's been tough on Joe too. Like, it's probably taken an awful lot out of him. But like, he was one of when we came up to the Hydro and had a look around initially. So the building looks great, and we were happy enough with that. But then it's like, what's the local sentiment like? So we went and met Joe, and he was like, after we met Joe, we were that gave us a huge amount of confidence that people actually wanted to really do things here, and that they were willing to put their energy behind it. Like, equally so, like the TDs, the county manager, Joe Gordon, all these guys are kind of eager to see Listonvarna back to where it should be.
And like, where Listonvarna should be, when this is, I know you're on your soft launch this year, but when your plans for the hydro and John's plans for the hydro come to fruition, what will it be?
Yeah.
All the product people, there's so many things going to be walked through around at the nightclub, and we're in the bar. The bar is huge. There's beautiful wooden panel places, so immaculate.
Yeah.
But I know that there's good work done still.
Yeah.
But when, what's the plan? What's the product?
Yeah.
Hydro.
Yeah. So we're hoping to really just to reimagine the building again. So it had obviously, Joe, it's gone a little bit stale in terms of decor in particular. Like, lots of red carpets, lots of bright maroons and reds and kind of so like we're initially we want to get in and completely change the look and feel of the place to really appeal to a wider audience in terms of from a tourism point of view. So and just create a great place for people to stay first and foremost. That you've a really comfortable bedroom and that you're in North Clare here effectively. Like, we're only a couple of kilometres from Doolin, a couple of kilometres from Cliffsamore, Ballyron, Fanor. Like, you're in North Clare. So, and North Clare delivers. Like, when people come to North Clare, like, they really enjoy themselves. Like, it's a great tourism experience. Burn, there's the cliff walk, there's you can spend 4 or 5 days here and only be scratching the surface. But you've the life that North Clare have, which is quite different as well. Like Doolin's nightlife, that is an incredible piece as well.
But I feel too that the surrounding area is going to do well from the reinvigoration and back to the point you made on energy.
Yeah.
Like, every brand or every, no matter whether it's what that business is, it needs energy.
Yeah. Like, I would argue, like, you've two things you need for to do something like this. You need money and you need energy, and I would argue that energy is probably more important than money. So it's like, if you've energy, you can create things. You can do coffee docks. You can do that aren't that incredibly capital intensive. But like,
yeah. So a big piece is you spoke about energy, and it's obviously the energy in person to do something. But it is finite. And what you're taking on here with this project, you're almost reinventing a town in some ways. You're really bringing a lot of yourself to bear on it. And that can be risky from certain points of view. I know that the raw material is here first, but your own personal energy, you've so much on already. And I think a lot of young entrepreneurs in general will be interested in, how do you protect that? Because you're throwing so much at yourself. You're here this morning, and by the way, it is a working construction site at the moment. Like, their preparations are well underway at every corner of the hotel for soft launch. How do you protect your own energy? And when you go into a project like this, how do you know that you're not taking too much of your energy from other projects?
Yeah. Well, I suppose, like, when I suppose with the way we do things, we get in and you build teams. So and Fiddle and Bow has a structured team now, so it can pretty much operate on its own, kind of without me. Obviously, you get stuck in every now and again, but like it's they do their own management meetings, they do all that kind of stuff. So it's really important, if you're going to scale, that you create teams, independent teams that can operate kind of on their own without having major input, which allows you the freedom to. So when you're building a new business, it's an incredible amount of energy. Like, in terms of, I need to be here, I need to be focused on it, you need to be making decisions fast, and you need to make sure that, like, this is a big building. It's the biggest project I've ever taken on, and it's a huge responsibility in terms of, need to make sure that I get it right, because a place like this could, like, it's so big, you could bring you down handy enough as well. You've your payroll costs here, could be 30K a week. So if you're not operating at that, if you're not getting into business, and if you take it down a bad direction, like, it's going to cost you heavily. So Yeah, it's like for me, I need to be here. Like this is a critical time of the business. You know, when you're starting to build a brand new team, we were very fortunate to get Frank Minogue actually as our GM here, who's with 15 and a half years experience with John, who did a great job over there. Plus with I've Sarah Brosnan, she's the CEO of Doolin, and Sharon, who's like you've CFO. So you've all these incredible people have a serious input. But my role is kind of direction of the business and the to kind of the creation of the direction, I guess. So that's that takes a lot of energy.
So Frank would be managing, you would manager.
Yeah, Frank's the GM. Yeah, so he'll run the day-to-day operations of the hotel.
Yeah.
And he'll like it starts on the top. If you get that, I worked with Frank. I worked under Frank, and that's when I really got to admire his leadership style. He's a really nice guy, like, and he's a really genuine guy and a real guy that cares. And I think these kind of guys build great teams. And yeah, that was probably our number one. So if you can get the top level right, I think, and you know, like assholes are arseholes, you know, and nice people are nice people. That's our general ethos.
Yeah.
And that.
In terms of staff net, how is staff organized?
No. As of last week, we'd no sales, and we had about 4 or 5 staff. So yeah, so we're going to open it slowly. This is a bootstrap. Like in terms of the scale, with 113 bedrooms, we were just going through the quilts and pillows were like 34 grand alone. You know, you're just the scale of everything. So like it has to be done over time. So like initially we're trying to get 40 rooms open, trying to get up to 80 rooms open by July. Start generating cash flow and start just finding the bottom and working our way then from there. So it's yeah.
It's not an insignificant task.
No. It's a big one, and we don't have shed loads of cash. You know, some people think that it's easy when you've you know, but it's not. Like it's really bootstrapping. Like we're pulling up carpets. We've hired sanders. We're sanding the concrete underneath it. You know, that's because we can't afford new carpets everywhere. Because if you went putting new carpets everywhere, you could be talking 200,000 or 300,000 for the hallways and common areas alone. So it's just like, yeah, it's bootstrapping on a brand new level. But I'm used to it. That's how we managed to get our build a business in Fiddle and Bow. Like it was a real bootstrapping job. Like we bought the building in 2019, and within 6 months the pandemic hit really hard. So like we had and back then Joe employees got the employee assistance scheme. So it was the way most hospitality business survived, because we were that new. We weren't able to avail of that because it was based on your turnover from the previous year. So we to then scramble and open a pop-up in Ennis, which was critically important at the time, which was like it was absolute bootstrapping job. Like it was a container, you know, back when I suppose containers weren't very big like that. So, but it was incredible. It was really successful, and it allowed us to keep the team that we already had built up. We'd built up a great team, like John Darren, who's a partner in Russell's, and Viv, and you know, the main guys that have been with us all along. Like it allowed us to maintain employment there and keep us moving forward, because we would have had to lay everybody off, and you would have been you're back to nothing again. Without people, you have you can't move. Like,
but on the point of even bootstrapping this project, and even those headwinds you had with would say Fiddle and Bow, is there ever a right time to take on the next step, to go into the next diversification or project? Does there always have to be a certain amount of inbuilt chaos and a certain amount of, like what you're saying there, that always we'll figure it out as we go?
yeah,
That the opportunity is here now, we either take it or we don't. Like, this is probably a generational opportunity.
yeah,
This isn't going to come up again.
yeah.
So we have to be able to execute on it.
Yeah, for us, it's like when we got in and we just started really looking under the bonnet of Liston Barn and the hydro. We both felt really confident in it, and we were kind of, I suppose, confident in our own teams as well, and our own skill set, that we were probably the right people to execute this plan. Like, and And we have a vision of I have a vision of what it's like for the first 2 years. I kind of have that kind of fairly well mapped out loosely now. Like I haven't, I haven't got a chessboard or anything like that. But we're going to open this year, get energy flowing through it, get the trade the matchmaking festival. Really look at what that looks like, and like is there parts of it that are really worth digging into, or is there some parts that need to be tweaked and changed? Like at the end of the day, it's like it's a human connection festival really, and it dates back a long time. So like you can be looking in from the outside with all these different notions, but unless you actually trade it and see it for yourself, that's a really important thing for us to just get in and see it for what it is. And
You have to feel your way to a certain extent.
you absolutely have to feel your way, because you can be coming in with all the notions you want, but it doesn't. You might not. If you don't understand it, you're not able to I suppose help it along or move it along.
But that'll definitely require you being floating around a couple of ones.
No, absolutely, yeah. No, this is the biggest. This will take a huge amount of my focus this year to just get in and just feel our way through the business. And yeah, this is a critical year, and we're also equally excited by it. Like that we see the possibilities that are here.
And on the piece, just I think a very interesting part is the way you've jumped from the Rent Irish cottage side of things, and like some of the cottages around Doolin, which are just amazing. The whole jump that you had from there to hotels, do you still find the whole self-catering thing as attractive as you did at the start?
Yeah.
Or do you see the tourism area moving? Is the Airbnb thing going to be that growing area? I know during the pandemic that it did very well.
Yeah.
Coming out of it.
Yeah.
Is it going to keep growing that area?
No, absolutely. It's an established marketplace now. Like there was like the stats are around maybe 15% of Americans had experienced Airbnb before the pandemic, and now it's like 30-40%. So like the market is growing. Like, and there's for people with families, I really enjoyed the self-catering product. You come in, you have a kitchen. If you want to, if you have kids, you can, if they want cornflakes or whatever. It's like and if the kids are noising, even like all that kind of stuff, it's like there's a place for hotels and there's a place for self-catering. Like, and there's just different requirements. So it's absolutely an established marketplace. The issue is around properties actually, and it's the constructing, which will be eventually answered with modular construction, because it's the cost of building a property now. So if I wanted to build a 1,000 square foot holiday rental, you're probably talking 400,000. So it's like in the traditional sense, and modular will answer that. It's about getting that product on the ground for a lot cheaper than 400,000, because that wouldn't really make commercial sense. So that is probably helped to transition into, well, you've two issues. Like self-catering is it takes, you're managing, at the moment we're managing about 100 different properties. So you have 100 different lawns cut, you have 100 different there's a lot of organization in that. Whereas in a hotel, it's like you've one property. It's a slightly easier managed.
One set of rates, one set of tax.
Yeah, just infrastructure. Like there's a big infrastructure required. So like we used to have kind of properties dotted everywhere, whereas now we're trying to centralize, and that's about management and teams and being able to have vans. That's the.
And is there Rent Irish cottage side of it? Is that as hands off, and will that run without your energy as much as, would say, fiddle and board?
Yeah, well, no, like we do, like I play an active part in that every day. So it's still quite busy. But you're answering emails, you're taking phone calls. But it's certainly like it's an established business that has the system set up for many years. So like it does tend to flow a lot easier. And you'll always have bits and bobs of problems. But again, great team inside there that they'll mainly they'll answer. Like, if there's any problems, they'll deal with it. Like, they'll only come to me if there's a really big problem. So that has worked really well.
In business and in your experience, is there kind of an escape velocity where you get to a certain scale or a certain amount of momentum, maybe, where it spins off enough cash that you can jump back and then have a vision to take on projects like these. Well, and the other thing is how to not get stuck in a position where you're integral to everything that happens. So much that, like Rockefeller said, if you're working 7 days a week, you've no time to make money.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, you've got to protect like your free time and your free space as well to be able to think. Like if you're in the nitty gritty like all the time, you see nothing. If you're in swinging, like it's not good. You've got to be able to pull yourself out and keep some bit of a helicopter view if that's possible. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just have to get stuck in. Like, you know, if one of our business, you know, if the chipper say up in Russell's, if that's don't forget a really busy day, like, you know, you have to jump in there, like, and because of my skill set, the only thing I can possibly do is probably pot wash or frying chips. Like, yeah, that's the reality of it. Like, so, but like you jump in and you get stuck in, and that's, you need to get into the nitty gritty too at the right time as well. So, and I think that's really important in terms of like leadership, that people see you getting stuck in when you can as well. Like that you're not just giving feedback all the time, because I don't think anybody appreciates 24/7 feedback.
Well, your credibility.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah. You have to be able to jump in and play your part as well. Like, you know, it's just
What do you require going forward for the Northwest Clare tourism product from, i.e., the council, regulatory bodies? What's required for this to flourish outside of your own energy
yeah,
and your own enthusiasm? Because that can only bring you so far.
yeah.
Like you can't be shackled either.
No, absolutely, yeah. So it needs everybody just to work together, like on with a common purpose, that they want to get this village flourishing again. Like in terms of, like, it needs like our politicians or Clare County Council to just work to a higher vision, and everybody try and work together and pull together, and you know, just keep the energy positive and keep trying to work together, and like where possible.
Yes.
Like, and it's there will be bits and bobs of falling out, whatever, but it's just everybody needs to really work together and work to a higher purpose as well. It's like there's like brand Liston Barney needs a good bit of work. Like we need to work with all Jump Falls Ireland. We're down, like they're really interested in helping out. Like and the response has been incredible. Like a lot of people give out about our politicians and our leadership, but like the response is there if you go looking for it in a positive sense. Like they are eager to help and make a difference here, and see the economy doing what it should be doing.
And Gerry, on the side, I'm always mindful that we have good deal of younger listeners and watchers of the podcast. I meet people so often and they've great ideas and they're very smart, but they don't always want to go into the next greatest tech unicorn or, you know, big idea that has a high upside but has a high risk of failure. Some people are interested in going to things like, you know, established businesses like hospitality, maybe not at the scale you're at, or maybe get into property or something. If someone has an idea and they want to do something in Ireland, can you get the money?
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm not comparing the stage you're at because you're established now, but you had to get the money along the way to get to where you are today. It didn't just happen magically. You had to work that out and figure those parts out.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like we spoke about the path. Like it was like you have to go backwards, go forwards. Like it's like I started. We took a chance, released a few released properties, and made that work. Like, you know, the started with the seriously low turnover, and eventually you build, and you'll be surprised where momentum can take you. Like if you're enjoying what you're doing, and if like, so I was the guy cleaning houses and checking people in and checking people out, and so and eventually the business kind of grew and grew to kind of where it is now. But yeah, like is there isn't a shortage of money in the world. There's a shortage of great ideas in the world. You know, like if you've a great idea that makes great commercial sense, you will get someone to back you, because there's loads of people with money out there. If the idea is good enough, if it makes proper sound commercial sense, so that isn't built around something that's extremely aspirational, I guess.
But do you require scale, and do you require another piece that I know we've spoken about before, is personal branding? Do you nearly need to have a personal brand at this stage? And do people need to see something in you?
Yeah. Um, No, I think it's just you need to you need to just be able to get stuck in and deliver. Like if you like, obviously it helps if you've created a business and you've proven that you can do this before. Like that is a huge thing. So like for me, it was a case of getting in and proving that I could run a business, that I made it, that it became profitable, and then once people see you can do that, um, you're a lot easier to back, I suppose. Then, and that's kind of where we've grown, and even from John's point of view, the personal brand side of things, I would have always been kind of I like staying a lot more low key, generally in terms of I'm not big into social media and all that, but I know that for me to be successful as Gerry the businessman needs to do that. Like it's an important part that I build a personal brand and that I'm more active in that space. So I am really conscious of that, and I suppose that's probably the reason we're having the interview here in the first place. That we have a massive business here to get up and running, and that I need to give everything. You can't just give it 50% and just be like, I need to take risks and give interviews and put myself out there, which
Yeah.
normally I don't really do. I kind of like to stay in the background, to be honest.
But I suppose the way things are gone now, everything is quite visual and quite, image orientated. And if a person can be recognizable anyway, as the reputation then can follow them, it's a big advantage.
Yeah, no, I know it definitely is. Like I see, John is pretty active in that space in terms of, and he's really well known, and it's just I can see from a business perspective, it really helps. Like I'm still like my own personal life, I wouldn't be big into social media or anything like that, but like in terms of my business life, I do need to mind that space. Like if people know you and see you visually, it's a trust thing. Like they're going to they know what you're about and they know what you stand for, and if they like you, they'll maybe potentially do business with you, and that's important.
Because I think it's definitely a good point that, that familiarity people have. I find in rural Ireland doing business, especially in my case, when you're from maybe an agricultural farm point of view, you've 3 or 4 generations gone before you that have set that precedent and that trust, whether it be, now I know the banks deal off algorithms
Yeah,
and it's a little bit faceless, but there is a little bit of familiarity. And I think that maybe the ecosystem in Ireland for entrepreneurship is probably failing a certain amount of young people, that they feel it's not like Silicon Valley where if you have an idea, you can access it. You've told me that. You understand that because you're in the business ecosystem.
yeah,
But for the young person coming up, we need to have a better way of giving them the opportunity of this idea of wanting a pillar bank. I want to hit any of them.
yeah,
That's great if you're established or you have certain cash flow. But
yeah,
we need to get people who have the money to back the people, the ideas, and the energy.
yeah.
Maintain the energy.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Like, being a business person in Ireland is can be tricky enough. Like, it's quite a small market. Like like in terms of the amount of business people that were that are in Clare currently at the moment. So it's like but they're there. Like, so if young people have a really great idea, like you just got to get yourself out there and set up your meetings, and you'll find someone. Like there's a lot of great people there that want to back businesses and ideas, and it's not like a lot of people that have money, it's not just for the money. Like if they see something that's really worth doing, they'll want to be part of that. So it's for young people just to get out there, get meeting people and start connecting with people. Like connections are huge. Like they're incredibly important. Like I saw even when we were closing the deal here, like John's reputation and his was incredibly important in terms of the financial backers of this place. So like they knew John, they knew what he was about in particular. So it was incredibly important.
Credibility was there already for.
I know the credibility. They know he works hard. They know he's interested. They know he's not going to run away when the chips go down, because like business is like life. It's a flow. Like there's ups and downs, and you got to be able to keep your heads on the low and the high as well, both equally important. Like if you Yeah, if you lose your head in even when you're going really well and you overinvest or if you overextend yourself, like hospitality in particular, there's a huge flow there. Like the last say since 2008, less than 20 years, you've had the crash, you've had the foot and mouth. You've had the volcano in Iceland had a huge impact. You've COVID, like, so these are all like banks don't touch you, then banks are mad about you, then banks it's like
Very cyclical.
you're very cyclical, like, so you gotta be really careful and prudent that you don't overextend yourself and just mess the whole thing up, because it can happen quite fast if you're not aware. But I suppose I've been lucky. I've a lot of experience of that. Like, I've been at a low, during COVID, or during particularly in the crash, like, so that had a big impact on me, business wise and financially. So, but that was also a great learning in terms of, like, I know I'll never do stuff like that again. So that was important.
And can it be hard? What you said about the swings with the hospitality industry, cash flow, you can have big swings where you might have a beat buffer or cash there. And can the ego be a hard thing to manage? I don't mean the personal ego, I mean the business ego, in that, gee, we're doing well here, so we can take on the world.
Yeah.
Can it be a hard thing to, like, pour cold water and maybe say, well, be a bit more conservative, or managing that side is very tricky.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly important that you don't extend yourself, because, like, again, I understand that it's the cycles, and hospitality is actually in a decent space now. So generally, I mean by that I mean the accommodation space. Food and beverage is still incredibly tricky. Like, we operate a lot in that space, and just the profitability in that space is really tough. I know the government are doing something about that now, but it's for our cafes, for our restaurants, which are the lifeblood of our towns, they are under serious pressure. Like, the costs of everything have gone through the roof, cost of food, and then it changes. Like, you could, there could be a €2 or €3 jump in like ingredients costs in a week. So it's like trying to manage all that stuff and trying to make sure that we stay consistently profitable, and that your business is actually sustainable, can be really tough. So, like, you'd really feel for a lot of the small businesses that are out there. It's incredibly tough. Like, in terms of the minimum wage have gone up, which in theory is great, but, like, it just whereas that's all has to be added on. It's like
Inflationary too.
yeah, which is like obviously everybody wants to see everybody making more money. That's the whole idea of it. But, like, it's just like, where does it all end? This other side of it, like this.
It tends to, speaking to Guy Layton, who just said that Ireland is very bad value, and he said to me he was on psyche about minimum wage. He said, I go to Spain for my holidays and I can get X, Y, and Z so much cheaper. And he made no reference to the quality of the product, or what he was eating, or what he's consuming, or where he's staying. And I said, do you know the minimum wage in Spain is, it's tiny.
Yeah.
They don't have the same conditions that we have here for our workers.
Yeah.
So, like, it's kind of like, what do you want?
Yeah.
You can't have both.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very tricky.
No, it is. It's a really tricky balance. Like, in terms of rents are all gone out of kilter as well. So it's
The race.
yeah. Anyway, we probably won't figure that one out today.
Won't get that. But Gerry, 30 years time, what's your vision? Have you an overriding vision, or back to the piece with opportunities? Are you just going to keep taking opportunities as they come, not things that excite you?
Yeah, like, it's for me, it's about making sure things are manageable, and making sure, like, you can only grow as much as your nervous system is able for. Like, if you start, for me, and that was an important piece of work this year, like, just to make sure that I understood what, because if you try and expand too much, and if you're not able for it, like, that's not good either. So for me, this year was kind of about learning what that was, and how to help regulate your nervous system. Because when you're doing a lot of things, you need to have practices that help you with your nervous system, and because that has a huge influence, obviously, on your leadership style. If you're going around like an old bag of nerves, like, it doesn't help anybody. Like,
And what What are the practices for you? What do you do? You do play a bit of golf?
Yeah, no, I do like, and that's really important in terms of the connection piece. But it's a more like just in meditation, breath work, the importance of. I think there's definitely an incredible amount of people that don't understand your nervous system and what it can do for you, and what it that it can be regulated through daily practices. And if you want to perform at a high level in sport, you have to look after your body. If in business, it's you have to look after your body, but also like your nervous system, your diet, all that kind of stuff. So it's it seems a bit woo, but it's definitely very it's incredibly important, and I see the an incredible value in that. Yeah.
Interesting. Do you think of legacy?
Not really, no. Like I like in terms of what do I want to achieve, I suppose you just want to like life is incredibly short. Like, you know, if you were to put if I live till I'm 70, like I've probably 14,000 days left. So like that's the it's what I try and do is try and experience life as much as I possibly can. And I really love what I do. Like I love getting up this morning, coming up here, and you're kind of trying to create something is kind of magical. I'm really lucky to have found something I love doing, and as long as I love doing, I'll keep doing it. But like when I stop loving it, I'll stop doing it. And like when I stop being of use to the business as well, I'll look to move on then at that stage.
Yeah, you don't have any concrete view of you in a certain stage.
No. I think things change. Like I can't sit still. Like I know I can't lie on the beach and read a book. Like I just can't. So like I don't know what that looks like in future, but I always like to keep moving, learning, looking at things, and so yeah, that's kind of what it looks like at the moment. Anyway, like things change, things evolve. Your family circumstances change. Like we've experienced that ourselves. In we lost a brother a year and a half ago. That like that was an incredibly tough piece where everybody you reflect a lot more in terms of your business and your family, and the change that has. So
Yeah, absolutely.
massively,
Keep it in perspective.
incredibly. Like it's tough teacher, but like it's I suppose to accept life, you have to accept everything that comes with it, and we were incredibly unfortunate to experience that.
100%. Yeah, yeah. That's the this is the contrast in life. Running out, running a hotel, or running anything else. These are smaller things in the grand scheme of things, like that.
No, absolutely, yeah, like absolutely. When like and every family has its crosses to carry. You know, it's not we're not any different. You know, so it's it just it's you just have to try and deal with it and try and keep going.
Have you did your own like you you've moved abroad, and I suppose you're in a more holistic view of life. Do you know, that colours or anything that
No, definitely. Like we had spoke about maybe bringing our kids, trying to that we were homeschooling them at the time, so it was like we wanted to maybe give them a foreign language or two, and we've been talking about it for many years. But I think when something like that happens, you kind of you really you've got to do the things that you want to do. He was 50, like he was really healthy. He was at the top of his game, like, and a big inspiration for me. In terms of he went to Shannon College first, and did some really cool stuff. Like he was working with Russian Fashion Council in November, and then had passed by January. Like that's it was incredibly sudden. So it was it was really tragic, but it was like you start asking yourself all kinds of questions, like and we were at a stage then where mum was healthy, and like we were all healthy, and Marie's parents were healthy, so we knew that it was, if we were going to do it, we'd and it's not we love our I love Ireland, we're not we haven't immigrated or anything. I'm coming over and back, and we're probably going to do it for a year or two, just it has allowed us to spend more time as a family, like because when I'm at home, there's always a million and two things to do. So you're kind of flying off to Nina, or you're gone to West Cork, or there's just so much to do.
really touch distance.
You can't sit still. So like when I was at home, you were gone 6 days a week, kind of from morning till night. So you're kind of John, if you did decide to have a sleep in and on Monday, you're kind of Jesus, shouldn't be here. I should be.
The proximity nearly created that sort of anxiety, but
yeah, it did.
stitchness.
Yeah, so with everything that happened, I suppose personally with our family, like it was important to maybe come sit back and reflect a lot more and look what I was doing myself, like, you know, in terms of like Mark worked incredibly hard as well, like, and you know, it's ultimately like a heart attack got him, like, so we've all got to make sure and try and put our health first and make sure that we're living the life that we wanted to live, because life is short, and that's
very fine.
That's the teacher,
Yeah,
yeah.
huge teacher.
Yeah.
But Gerry, look, you were saying you found it hard to sit still. You've given us just over an hour of your time.
Yeah.
And I think you give a lot of value to our listeners and watchers. And thanks for everything you're doing, and the very best luck in West Clare and in all their adventures.
Yeah, thanks very much, Joe.
Thanks, Gerry.
Thank you.